Westworld, anyone?
Westworld, right. Anyways. This episode was interesting. A lot of callbacks, a lot of flashbacks. I feel like we're going further back in time than what season 1 originally did.
It feels like they want to make sure that we're getting the backstory of the Delos company and figuring out all of these references to, like, you don't know what the park's really about. You don't know what they're really doing here. So it's like we're going back into the William and the Logan times. We met Delos Sr., who I still didn't get his name. Did you get his name?
They never really said his name.
All we really got is that he's Logan's dad. And he doesn't really care for Logan that much. And then he has a respect for William because William stood up to him.
See, speaking of Logan, was he still alive? Because last season, we kind of talked about this earlier. Last season, the last thing that we saw of Logan was he was butt naked on a horse riding into the sunset.
Well, we saw him in this scene with Dolores. This is after William went to the park with him.
Yeah.
So this is post him being sent butt naked into the park. So this is how we know that he survived.
It survived up until that point, but we haven't seen him recently.
True.
See, this is why you can't have like a Netflix and chill situation with a Westworld, because you really have to watch the show. Because they mess you up with all these timelines. Like, I thought we were just going to deal with 2 or 11 days past the incident and then that night of the incident, but then, as you said, we're like taking it back, and I don't even know when this takes place.
I know.
All right.
You are all about this, which is the end of the Logan orgy when he first meets the host, and we get the hint of what he wants to go to the park for.
What's funny is with that scene, he technically was the first one to have an orgy with artificial intelligence. How do they clean all that after?
That's actually one of my favorite scenes in this show, was because it was when Logan first realizes that they are all hosts.
So that moment when everybody freezes and he looks around.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh shit, everybody here.
It's like...
everybody here is a freaking host.
Exactly. Up until this point, you just kind of take it as it is. Everyone knows that these hosts are fake. But you actually see, like, the surprise and, like, awe in his reaction.
Well, he's also so adamant about, like, we're not at this point in technology. This is... It's almost like he's saying, this is wrong. We shouldn't be here yet.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like, I was thinking that it was just going to be like, oh, just another thing. These hosts are just like, whatever. But yeah, to see him react like that, it's so cool.
And it also kind of connects with the scene later at the retirement party with him and Dolores when he's talking about, like, the end of the... He's basically saying, like, we've unlocked the end of the world now. We did it to ourselves. And he's, like, foreshadowing that the hosts are going to kill everybody. And this, we know, is at least, like, 20 years before the present. But that it may also lend into the theory that something happens to Logan. He's shut up, or somebody kills him because he starts making these predictions.
What is up with anytime they do these interviews with any of the hosts? Why are they always sitting on that chair naked? Specifically Dolores.
Well, I feel like this was a weird scene because this really felt like this is William, like, not really the William we knew anymore. This is like Man in Black William now. Because he's like in control of the park. He thinks of her as just this like object. She's not really a person anymore. He's like, I loved you. It's not like in the present anymore. Now he's just like, you're just some host. I don't care about you anymore. But does he? But does he though?
In season 1 though, they kind of led up to the aspect that he kept trying to go to the park to see if she remembered him.
True.
All the way up until old age.
I also thought it was fascinating to see his scene with Delos Sr. when they're literally talking about, like, what is the point of the park?
Yeah.
Why would Delos get involved? What is their hidden agenda?
The only place in the
and this
world
whole idea of, like, it's for marketing.
where you get to see
You're here to see, in secret, what do people really want, and then use that information to sell them crap.
And it makes sense, too. I mean, the whole... whether or not it's true, whether or not it really is for marketing, at least with as far as Delos Sr. is concerned, that's what really mattered. As far as William's true motivation, we still don't know what his true motivation is. What the writers had William say was perfect. How else would you do research and development? By letting people be as raw as they can. You know what I mean? No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Wow. What's his name? Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yes! That's who he was! Yes. I was going to say that.
He's holding them by gunpoint. The whole thing is going down. And Ford's programming kicks in again. And he's like, nope. This game is for you. You're doing this alone. And then, just like out of nowhere, they all point guns at their heads and they shoot themselves. Like, nope, you don't get this army. Like, that level of just like, I don't know, manipulation by Ford of like, this is all for you.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with this, but you're still going to play by my rules regardless of whether or not I'm here. And then the Man in Black getting pissed and just being like, fuck you, Robert. Fuck you, Robert.
Well, okay, so coming into that scene, I didn't think that they were written like that by Ford to begin with. It wasn't until the very end, like you said, that they revealed that this was part of Ford's game. Now the question is William following Ford's path, or is he just stumbling along this path?
Well, that leads to my crazy theory of the week.
Which is?
What is your crazy theory of the week, Graf? I'd really like to hear this theory.
Following Zombie Bernard of last week, this week's theory is the Man in Black a host? Because if the maze was a game created for Dolores, couldn't the door be a game created for the next host that he tortures?
Oh.
We've never seen the old Man in Black out of the park. He's always there.
I really like that theory.
What are our hopes for next week? Because we were 2 episodes in now.
Absorbed Nest also says he loves us, so we love you.
Definitely. We love anybody that comments.
Love anyone that watches.
Well, I would kind of have an idea of what's next if you guys let me watch the freaking preview of the next.
Well, that's the
So
point.
you have to look up your theories online, and then you have to let the show tell you what's coming
Look
next
you.
week.
So
Are you a host? Do you need people to program your thoughts for you?
do you have a barcode behind your neck?
You guys are fucking sour just because I'm fucking right. Don't be fucking high-fiving for that shit. Anyways, okay.
Well, you can go first. What do you want to see next week?
What do I want to see next week? Okay, well, it's going to be a while before Maeve and Dolores actually come back together because they're both on their paths. I think that... hopefully Dolores has more of an army this time so she can actually get to where she's fucking going. We get more of an explanation of the Delos Corporation, like what they're after, which is, I have another theory as to what they were doing, but I don't know. Can I say it?
Well, what's your theory?
Say the theory.
So my theory is in last episode that they were collecting DNA.
I like that you
Like
pointed
the
down toward your
stuff.
crotch for DNA.
They were collecting DNA, so either they're holding that as like blackmail or they are cloning influential people throughout the world and replacing them with hosts, and Delos is actually something way more sinister than what we originally thought. I also think that sidebar to that is, I remember from season 1, Robert Ford was like, the only thing that they haven't combated was death. So that goes back to maybe cloning or like some form of it, to where, I don't know, at some point maybe they've come to terms with, or they've had the technology for transfer of consciousness. Right? It's weird. Oh, gummy bears!
This is why she's here for the snacks.
Yeah, and you guys fucking like
I
failed
already
on that.
made a zombie or Frankenstein gummy bear.
He's making fun of you in the comments.
Thanks. Well, anyways.
We're out of beer, so we're done.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, my name is...
His name is Carlo. I forgot for a minute. That is his name.
I'm Jasmine.
I am Nick.
Again, thanks for joining in. Thanks for putting all those comments down. And again, don't forget to follow. Hit that like button if you guys like us.
And we'll be back next week after the 3rd episode of Westworld, so make sure you come back and watch us again. Clearly, we are watching comments, and we love talking with you guys, so... Yeah, that's all I got. Carlo?
See you guys next time. And again, thanks. Love you guys.